Good morning. Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. I am Maui Paul. We are here today to say some nice things about ourselves. I want to say good morning to everybody here. Good morning, Dan, coming in from Buford, and Lauren, coming in from Paradise. Good morning, Jan from Marietta, and Lane and Susan as well. Hope you guys are doing well today. It is the start of a new week, and of course, as always, the start of a new series of cards for the wake up call. With special thanks to Pepper for coming for loading up a couple of cards for me. I'm always excited to see what she comes up with. So anyway, yeah, we're here today to say some good stuff about us and to set ourselves up for success, to fill our brains with positive words, positive messaging in a world that is increasingly not full of that at all. In fact, I very recently, within a couple days ago, broke my 30-day media fast, and so I popped back onto social media. I popped back on to go see what the world was up to after 30 days of not really paying much attention to it. And holy shit, what a crazy world that we live in. But I figure that I can make my little part of it calm. I can make my little part of it a lot a lot full or of a lot less craziness, simply by affirming good things and by really focusing on what I can control, because the vast majority of the craziness that is in the world around me right now is stuff that I have no direct control over. And so honestly, I see no reason to argue about it or whine about it or scream at other people who believe differently than me. But rather, I'm going to make my little corner of the world as peaceful as possible, and in doing so, I'm going to be able to set myself up for success. So anyway, I encourage you guys to join in with me. We're going to do the same thing we do every morning, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. I'm going to pull a card off the top of the deck. I'm going to ask you if you are the affirmation on the card, and we are going to respond out loud together. I am that affirmation. Let's give ourselves the gift of hearing ourselves say these words, because when we say them and it comes out of our mouth, our ears can hear them, and we have a tendency to believe whatever it is that we say. So let's have some fun, pull a card, and say that today I am compassionate. I am compassionate. My kindness reveals deep empathy. So I am compassionate. My kindness reveals deep empathy. Are you compassionate? You are compassionate. Your kindness reveals deep empathy. I'm going to write that down in the comments, and I encourage you to do the same thing. And I am compassionate, and my kindness reveals deep empathy. I I thought that I was compassionate before. Now I have a kiddo. Now I realize that there was quite a bit more compassion that I'm now able to muster up. In fact, as I continue on this whole journey of fatherhood thing, it's amazing as to just how much I realize that, or how much I realize about adult child relationships that I had no idea about before I had my own child. There's things that I knew about in my head, but definitely things have entered into my heart when I am the one who's responsible. And so I am compassionate, and my kindness reveals deep empathy. And I think about it whenever I'm being kind to my daughter, who was one way or another just doing something that is stopping me from doing what I'd rather be doing, which is of course one of the frustrations and of course joys of parenthood, is that that she's going to have needs, and she's going to have needs regardless of what my needs are, and she has no concept of why daddy might need to do certain things at certain times. And uh and so my ability just to love her through all of that is very much giving me a lot of personal growth. And so I am compassionate. My kindness reveals deep empathy. I'm compassionate when I wake up, once or twice or three times a night. Thank God she doesn't ask me to wake up too much more than that. But wake up in the middle of the night to take care of some need that she has, and that she can't even communicate with me except by screaming in my ear. And and so she does, and I'm like, okay, well, what is it that what is it that I can do for you? Or when I've met all of her needs and she still decides that she's going to cry, and I just don't know what else to do for her. But I do know that she's going to be loud until she decides not to be. And so I have to decide in that moment to have some compassion, to recognize that at one point I was also that big and somebody loved me and didn't shake me or put me away or shut me up or anything like that. Just kind of realize that I can be compassionate. And so I am, and I'm certainly been having a lot of practice at being compassionate, at practice at being empathetic with somebody who cannot communicate with me in any way except that involves loudness. And I love quiet in my house, but definitely have not signed up for that for the next 20 years or so. But I guess probably more importantly for the next 5 or 6, it definitely be a lot louder in here. But anyway, the fact is that to the degree that we're able to be kind when life itself or circumstances around us are not as we prefer them to be, to that degree, we are revealing empathy to the world. And what is empathy except the ability to see things from somebody else's point of view, to experience stuff from somebody else's point of view, to be able to flip our perception around and think to ourselves, okay, I understand why this person is behaving this way. I understand why this situation is like this. And I'm going to be the bigger person. I'm going to be I'm going to be the more mature one here. So I am compassionate, and you are compassionate as well. And I know because the people around me are regularly compassionate toward me. I understand. I'm not a perfect person. I try to be, but that doesn't mean that I always succeed at it. And undoubtedly, as I go through my life, that I certainly do things sometimes that would make other people have to be compassionate toward me, in the same way that other people do stuff in my life that would make me have to be compassionate toward them. It's a two-way street. And so since we are compassionate people, let's approach life today with that sense of compassion. Let's approach life by empathizing with the folks around us, and by helping them when they are having big emotions that they don't entirely understand how to quantify. Because let me tell you, the same level of screaming that my infant daughter does is the same behavior that I see coming out of adults on social media right now. It's the same exact kind of, like, I don't understand what's going on in the world, and so I'm just going to scream and call everybody else names and scream a lot. There's a lot of screaming. And so the fact that we can that we can be empathetic toward these folks, even if it's only by just letting them cry it out, by ignoring the screaming, is definitely a way that we can be empathetic, and recognize that in the end, the folks who are around us, who are behaving in ways that are disruptive to our lives, are doing so because they don't entirely understand what's going on in theirs. And well, if I'm honest with myself, I don't really understand what's going on either. I've just decided not to scream about it. I've decided to be more curious about what's going on that I can't control than angry about what's going on that I can't control, and definitely just working on making my little portion of the world as calm and smooth as possible, so that I can make good decisions that set myself up for future success. So let's be compassionate today toward all the people around us. Let's be compassionate toward ourselves. Let's have empathy toward ourselves. Let's recognize that we also, whatever it is that we see that bothers us about the world, is something that exists inside of us as well. That there are portions of that exist in us. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to recognize them. And that compassion that we have, that we transfer over to the world, is something that we can also give ourselves the gift of. So I'm compassionate today. You are compassionate as well, and together we're going to make this world a better place. So let's see here. All right. So Susan says, I am compassionate if you're deserving. My compassion reveals deep empathy. I do have qualifiers. I do have boundaries. I think that's a wonderful thing to have, Susan. Everybody needs to have some boundaries. But that I think that the boundaries are not so much whether or not we give compassion to others, but rather how much that we allow them to continue to be in our presence when they are doing things that are requiring us to mete out that compassion. So there's There are many times when I'm able to be with my infant daughter and give her compassion. And there are other times when I'm like, you know what? The most compassionate thing that I can possibly do right now is to remove myself from your presence so that I don't do anything that would be permanently damaging to our relationship. And so I just remove myself from a situation that I'm incapable of being compassionate about until I am more capable of being the adult in the room, because I am the adult in the room. But I do understand your perspective and agree with you. Having boundaries is very important. We're not a doormat. We have empathy for others. And at the same time, we need to make sure that we have empathy for ourselves, and that the empathy for ourselves uh, can can man, I'm trying to think of the word, but I can't think of the word. But the empathy for ourselves can extend to removing ourselves from and from situations where we really cannot behave lovingly because somebody is irritating us too much. Let's see here. Jan says, love people having boundaries and creating a life they feel safe and secure in. Yep, I like that. And boundaries are one of those wonderful things. We put up a fence around the place that we would like to protect. I'm actually about to be, or very shortly about to be setting up a completely different space. Going to be setting up a shed outside that I'm going to be using for having the wake up call and having my office in. And that place is going to be a place that I have complete control over, and that there's not going to be any child inside of, except if I intentionally invite her in there, because that way that's going to be able to keep that area fully focused and productive on the things that are most important to me. And so having that boundary, I'm moving out of my house and moving into a he shed, I guess, at least for the things that allow me to support my house. Let's see. So Jan says, I found compassion for others without feeling the pressure or requirement to act on their behalf in any way. I can feel compassionate and still decide that it's not my responsibility to interact or interfere. That was huge on my journey. I like that. I like that perspective, Jan. Indeed, just because we are compassionate for other people doesn't mean that we need to do anything. We can simply love them for who they are, even if they are irritating the living shit out of us, which absolutely does happen sometimes. Be like, yep, I love you, and also I'm going to go somewhere else. Anyways, want to say thank you guys all for being here. It is really good to see everybody. So good morning again to everybody who is here. So I know Dan and Lauren have come by from close by to Paradise. I know Jan is coming in from Marietta. Good morning, Lane and Susan, Dan. Let's see here. And I see Teddy has popped in at the very end. Good morning, Teddy. Wonderful to see you here today as well. And I noticed I got some other folks watching on Twitch. So hello to my Twitch audience. Good to see you guys. All right, so I will talk to you guys all tomorrow at 9 a.m. We'll come up with another one of these. Until then, I love you. I appreciate you. I think y'all are awesome. And I'm going to go and handle my daughter with some compassion, because I know that she needed a little bit of attention before I started the call. I guarantee she needs some attention afterwards. Gonna have some compassion with Pepper as well by taking care of Persephone while Pepper is preparing more milk for her to eat today. All right, so I love you guys. I appreciate you. I think y'all are awesome, and let's go out and have compassion for the folks around us today. I will talk to you tomorrow at 9 a.m. And until then, aloha from paradise.